Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Rhea Ripley has arguably unleashed her most brutal side yet during her feud with Liv Morgan on WWE Raw. She may need some support to feud with the Judgment Day moving forward. At WWE SummerSlam 2024, fans witnessed the highest point of the Judgment Day storyline as Dominik Mysterio betrayed Rhea Ripley to side with Liv Morgan. Finn Balor also betrayed Damian Priest later that night, raising the tensions to an all-time high. Rhea and Damian are now in a vengeful battle against Balor, Carlito, JD McDonough, Mysterio, and Morgan. Considering Priest will handle Balor, Mommy may be left alone at some point against the newly formed couple of Liv and Dominik. At such time, she may use help from former friend and rival, Raquel Rodriguez. The 33-year-old star last wrestled in a WWE ring back in February. The former NXT Women's Champion revealed that she has been diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome. She recently uploaded a video of herself on her Instagram story, and her skin looks healthy, to say the least. While nothing is confirmed at this point, her return to aid Rhea in destroying Dominik Mysterio will be a treat for the fans. Why Raquel Rodriguez could fit well in Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan's clash on WWE Raw. The history between the three started years ago as Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez developed real-life friendship during their time in NXT. Fans can find several funny pictures featuring the two on both stars' social media handles. Raquel and Liv were also on-screen tag team partners. The two are two-time women's tag team champions, and their second reign ended after Rhea assaulted them prior to their title defense. After suffering an injury at the hands of the Eradicator, Liv Morgan returned to the company with a revenge tour and caused an injury to the then women's world champion. Considering how Raquel Rodriguez has ties with both rivals, her involvement in their feud will make it a full circle. We never know, she could also return as a heel and join the current women's world champion. Rhea Ripley sat backstage in a dimly lit locker room, her fingers tapping impatiently on the steel bench beneath her. The glow from her phone screen illuminated her face, but her focus wasn't on any notifications. Her mind was racing, contemplating the growing problem that was Liv Morgan. Once a friend, Liv had become a thorn in her side, a relentless competitor who was seemingly determined to undermine everything Ripley had built. For weeks, Liv had been riding a wave of momentum, and her star power in WWE had only grown. Liv, along with her Judgment Day partner, Dominik Mysterio, had dominated the women's division, causing Ripley's influence to wane. No matter what Rhea tried, Liv countered it. And now, it had become personal. A knock on the locker room door interrupted Ripley's brooding. She didn't bother turning around as the door creaked open. "I heard you've been having some difficulties," came a familiar voice from behind her. Rhea turned her head slightly, her eyes narrowing as she recognized the voice. Standing in the doorway was none other than Charlotte Flair, the woman who had been both her greatest rival and her most formidable opponent. The two had clashed numerous times, exchanging victories and injuries in a rivalry that spanned years. They had torn the house down at WrestleMania, battled for supremacy, and traded championships. To say they had history was an understatement. "What do you want, Charlotte?" Rhea replied, her tone cautious yet laced with irritation. "Come to gloat?" Flair stepped into the room, her signature confidence on full display. She wasn't wearing her ring gear, but even in street clothes, she commanded the room. "I'm not here to gloat. I'm here to talk business." "Business?" Rhea scoffed, finally turning fully to face Flair. "Since when do we have business?" Charlotte raised an eyebrow. "Since Liv Morgan became a problem for both of us." The room fell silent for a moment as Rhea processed Charlotte's words. Despite their bitter rivalry, there was truth in what she said. Liv had been a thorn in both their sides. While Liv had risen through the ranks, she had crossed paths with Flair numerous times, managing to secure several victories that tarnished Charlotte's once untouchable reputation. For Rhea, Liv's rise had been a direct threat to her dominance in Judgment Day and her position as the most feared woman in the division. And why should I trust you? Rhea asked, standing up and crossing her arms over her chest. We've been at each other's throats for years. What's in it for you? Charlotte smirked. Trust isn't necessary. We don't have to like each other, but we both know that if Liv keeps running wild, there's no room for either of us to take control of this division. She's a distraction, one that's costing us both. Rhea clenched her jaw. She hated admitting it, but Charlotte had a point. Liv had been a consistent thorn in her side, and with Dominik by her side, the duo had been nearly unstoppable. Taking her down would require more than brute force, it would require strategy. It would require an alliance. After a moment of tense silence, Rhea finally spoke. Fine. But this isn't a partnership. We work together to take Liv out, and after that, we go back to business as usual. Got it? Charlotte extended her hand, a glimmer of amusement in her eyes. Deal. Reluctantly, Rhea shook Charlotte's hand, sealing an alliance that no one in the WWE universe could have seen coming. The following week on Raw, the tension in the arena was palpable. Liv Morgan strutted to the ring alongside Dominik, a smug grin on her face as she raised her arms, basking in the adoration of the crowd. She knew she had been getting under Rhea's skin, and she loved every second of it. Liv had risen from being an underdog to a powerhouse, and with Dominik's support, she felt invincible. But that confidence would soon be shaken. As Liv and Dominik posed in the center of the ring, Rhea Ripley's music hit, and the crowd erupted. The Judgment Day powerhouse marched down the ramp, her signature snarl on her face as she locked eyes with Liv. But just as the crowd expected Ripley to storm the ring and take on Liv and Dominik alone, a second theme echoed through the arena, Charlotte Flair's. The crowd exploded with disbelief as Charlotte stepped out from the curtain, her eyes locked on Liv. The former rivals, Ripley and Flair, stood side by side at the foot of the ring, an unholy alliance formed out of necessity. Liv's cocky smile faded as she realized what was happening. She had taken down Ripley before, and she had bested Charlotte on more than one occasion, but both of them together? That was a different story. Charlotte and Rhea entered the ring, the tension reaching its peak as they stared down Liv and Dominik. The WWE Universe held its breath, waiting for the impending clash. Liv, ever defiant, raised her microphone. So this is your big plan, huh, Rhea? You had to run to Charlotte for help because you couldn't take me down on your own? Liv taunted, her bravado masking the underlying anxiety. Rhea snatched the microphone from Liv's hand, her glare icy. This isn't about me needing help, Liv. This is about you stepping out of line. You've gotten cocky, and now it's time for a reality check. Before Liv could respond, Charlotte struck first, hitting Liv with a vicious chop that echoed throughout the arena. The brawl was on. Liv and Dominik fought back, but the sheer power of Rhea and Charlotte was too much. Rhea threw Dominik out of the ring, leaving Liv isolated. As Liv stumbled to her feet, Rhea and Charlotte exchanged a brief glance before delivering a devastating combination of moves, Rhea's Riptide followed by Charlotte's Figure 8. Liv had no choice but to tap out, her reign of terror momentarily halted. As Rhea and Charlotte stood tall in the center of the ring, the crowd erupted into cheers, witnessing an unexpected and uneasy alliance. But as they soaked in the moment, both women knew that this partnership wouldn't last. For now, they had taken down a common enemy, but sooner or later, they would be back on opposite sides, fighting for dominance once more. The only question was, who would strike first?